In this framework, automation layer is done from us, application layer is done. Like I have given you ideas, now I've given you the prepared things. Now you just have to take it forward and complete the remaining class files. Then design pattern, we learned 3 different design patterns, so all those are also done. Then we created the test case layer, so this is also done. Then I gave you the how you'll create XML files, so this part is also done. For automation, we created one utility. So today we'll be creating some more utilities at app level as well as at test level. Okay, then what else is left in it? First one is interacting report. So I'll start with this and complete this interactive report first. Then next is logging functionality, and third one is taking screenshots. So taking snapshots, that is taking screenshot of all the field scenarios. We'll first complete this reports, then we'll complete logs, then we'll complete config file. If time will permit, then we'll start with data driven as well, or Jenkins trigger, depending on how much time we have. Okay, so these are the things which are left, and most probably in 2 days I'll be able to complete the complete framework, and then those 2 things will be left. Okay, so let's quickly start with reports first. Okay, so reporting mechanism in any framework, why we need that? Because we need to like once you are executing your code, after that how much test cases are passed, how many are failed, you need to give this report to your stakeholders or maybe product owners to give them confidence that our automation is working and they are finding quality defects, or if they are not finding defects, at least they are making sure that everything is working fine. Okay, so for that you can use the reports which are generated by testng also. But if we look at that report, if I'll open that emailable report, it's open with web browser. So if you open this report, you'll see that it's not a good looking report. It's a temporary kind of report which comes. Okay, so there are many tools available in market which you can use. Third party reporting tools are available which you can use to report this, to convert this emailable report into a good looking report. Okay, one of that tool is Xslt report. So let me quickly open that. Okay, Xslt report is something which is uh, which is available as a free software, and it was created by few people, and then they made it available for everyone. Just give me a second. There is one link from where you can download it also. There is one G Drive link. No. Okay, fine. From here only we'll download. So what is this XSLT? XSLT stand for Extensible Style Language Transformation. XSLT is a language for transforming XML document into other XML document that are used by the browser. Okay, so what it do is it reads one of the file, and that file is this one. In our test output folder, there is one file known as where it is. Yeah, testng result.xml. What it do is it reads that file and converts them into an XHTML file which your browser can read. Okay, so uh, so what exactly it do? It reads all the parameters from this XML file. Like if you will see this XML file, it has all the test, how much time it took, whether the test cases pass or fail. So it's like a like this XSLT reports it for input for that uh, particular reporting mechanism is this file. It reads that file, understand according to the standards, and then convert that into an XHTML format with some uh, CSS and other things which are there written in that code, and then converts a good looking report. Okay, so not much things you need to make sure you just first have to download this. So just open this link. It's a okay, not from here. Just give me a second. There is a link. Just give me a second. Yeah, here is the link. So to download this, I'll just ping this link. It's a G drive. Here the link is given. So just download this one. From here, download whatever will be available. Let me show you. Actually, I have downloaded on my system, so I'll show you there. Okay, on my system in C drive, users, Saurabh Dhingra, workspace, then here libs, in libs Xslt report. So these are the files which will be available there. So just download them. Here you can see xslt report.zip. Zip folder is there. When you download it and unzip it, this is something which you'll get. Now what you have to do is copy all these files, okay, and paste it in your project. Just come here, select this and press Ctrl V. It will save all the files in this particular project, or you can do it from the backend as well. So the folder that with the name libs with build.xml and testng result.xls, these three things will get copy. Okay, now in this libs folder there are some jar files which are available, which actually has the code to convert that XML file into the XHTML file. And what you have to do is just open this file. Okay, if I open this file, you can see that it has these parameters with it. Okay, so here you can see uh, it is using the base directory as your project directory. Okay, it needs few of the properties, so it is just taking those properties from here. Then here it is looking for, I mean, the target is given here. So what it is doing is, first it is deleting a folder with name testng xslt. You can create any, you can give any name here. First it is deleting that, then creating a file with the same name, folder with the same name. Mkdir means make directory. Okay, so it's creating a new directory, and then all the parameters it's taking from here. So here you can see the path, the just a second. Yeah, uh, the styling it is taking from testng result.xls, and output directory is this one, and input directory, in means input directory. So input directory is in your base folder. It is looking for a folder with name test output, and in that it is looking for one XML file known as testng-results.xml. Okay, so this is the file which I was talking about. So in your project, you can see we have a test output folder. In test output, we get this testng-results.xml. Okay, so if let's say you are not generating your testng reports in this folder, then you have to give the folder of where you are generating the testng output. Okay, then it reads this file, uses all other things, and execute. And one more thing, this particular project is based on Ant, Ant. Earlier, Ant was something which we had to install on our Eclipse, but now in these latest Eclipse, all those Ant comes by default. So what you have to do is just come to this build.xml, right click on it and run as, then use the second option, Ant build. Open it. Okay, it will give you this option. Just this will be unchecked by default. Just check it and click on run. Okay, once you execute this code, you will get in the console, you will get something like this. See what it is doing. First it is deleting the directory, then creating the directory as I told you, then processing that XML file, and then using the CSS or style sheet from the XSL file, and it creates the report. Now where it creates the report? It creates the report in the folder with name testng-xslt. If you open it, inside this there will be one index.html. Okay, I can open it from here also in the web browser, but the thing is this report uses something known as SVG. So here you can see SVG pie charts are not available. Please install an SVG viewer for your browser. So the web browser which Eclipse provide us, it does not have SVG. That's the reason it is not showing the pie chart. So for that, I'll just open the report. This index.html, I'll open it in Chrome. When you open it in Google Chrome, you'll see the desired report with uh, here you can see the pie chart is also coming. Okay, so if you look at the report, what it says is when any test case will fail, that will appear in red here. If a test case will be skipped, that will appear in a yellow here. For now, all the test cases were passed. Here you can see the suit. This is the name of the suit and this is the name of the test. Okay, remember when we last run it, when last time we ran it from XML files. Where are the XML files? Yeah. Uh, this was the XML file which we created, and in this the name of the suit was suit, name of the test was test. So the same thing is appearing there. So the name of the suit is suit and name of the test is test. It shows report here. If something will be failed, that will come here. If things are passed, that will come in green. If skipping is coming in yellow, total number of test cases will come here, and what is the percentage of passing, as it is 100%, and here it will give you the time. And this report is a good looking report. Now you can send this report to your stakeholders, right? Here you can see when you click on it, when you click on this test, uh, another good thing about this report is that you'll get all the steps as well. Like the first, the test case for us was verify title of the home page. So here it, when you click on it, it will show you what exactly it executed. Okay, and if something will fail, that will also come. Even your before class and after class will also appear, but they tells you that like there will be a gray bar which tells that these were not the test cases, but these were the uh, pre and post scenarios of your test cases. Okay, so this is one type of report available. It's an open source, you can directly use them, and if any changes needs to be required, for that you need to understand this XSL file, and then you can make the changes. But I think this can be directly used. So yeah. Okay, so any questions here? Okay. Now there is one more reporting extent report. There is one more reporting mechanism available. So ex that is extent report. If you get time, you can explore this report as well. So this is extent report. All the things, how to integrate it, everything is given. It would be exactly same. It's just that it won't be a Ant report. It might be something else. So you can just, I'll just ping this uh, and you can try it. Its documentation is given, so you can just search about it, integrate it in your project, and go ahead with it. Okay, so here you can see it provides us many reporting mechanisms, and it has a community version as well as a pro version. Pro might be a paid one, and community one might be a free one. Okay, it's based on Maven, so going forward we'll learn about Maven also, and then you can integrate this report also to your project. Okay, so for us this reporting mechanism is also done. Okay, then next we have is logs. So any questions in reports? Fine. Then let's start with the next one, that is logs, logging functionality, and how to insert that in or integrate logs in our project. Okay, so for logs we will be using something known as log4j, and I'll again go to guru99.com. Okay, so what is this logs and sorry, what is this log4j? Logs are something which helps you in debugging the code once it fails. Okay, once things fails, then logs help you in debugging. Okay, so there are many tools available, again third party and free open source available, which you can integrate in your projects for logging functionality. One of them is log4j. This is the most reliable one, you can say, and it's being used since long. So if we see when this logs were generated, this log4j came into market, it was somewhere around 1990 when this log4j became famous, and after that it's still in the market. Okay, and it is something which is provided by Apache. It's an open source, free to use. So Log4j is a fast, flexible, and reliable logging framework written in Java, developed in early 1996. So you can see almost 21 years it's ruling the market. It is distributed under Apache software license. Log4j has been ported to C, C++, C Sharp, Perl, Ruby, Python, and many other languages. It is tool used for small to large scale Selenium projects. Not only Selenium projects, it is being used in your Java projects as well. Okay, now why to use Log4j? First thing, it's an open source. Second, it can create logs in many levels, like uh, warning, info, debug, and so on. Okay, then there are three components of logs which you should remember. The first one is logger, second one is appender, and third one is layout. Okay, I'll talk about all the three one by one. Let's start with the logger. Okay, what is this loggers? Loggers is, it is responsible for logging information. To implement loggers into your project, following steps are needed. Okay, first, create an instance of logger class. Second, define the log4j level. Okay, so I'll start with it now. In your project, what you have to do is, first step will be, in the config folder, create a file with name log4j.properties. Okay, it's a property file. Now, what is a property file? Property file is something which takes value in key value pair. So something with before this equal to sign will be a key. This will be a key, and this will be its value. Okay, everything in log4j property file comes as key value, and anything which you're putting with a hash symbol is basically a comment. So this is a comment line. The first line is a comment line. Second line is a key and then a value. Okay, and so on. So there are many things which we will mention here. As I told you, here you need to define the log4j level. Now, what are the different levels available? These are the levels available. Okay, let's start from the below. When you have off, that means your logs are off. No logging will work. Then we have a level known as fatal. Fatals means the log level uh, which gets reported when things are fatal in nature. That means your application is crashing. Let's say your browser is not invoking it in the start only. Something is going wrong, or your application was not uh, loading up at all. So those are fatal logs. Okay. Then we have errors. Errors are something which are not fatal, which cannot stop your application, but they are like errors. Some issues are coming in your project. Okay. Then we have warning. Warning is something which is not an error but might cause some issue later on. Then we have info level. Info level is some information level which logs in the basic information. And then we have a debug level. Debug level is the detailed information which we put in our framework. Okay, like each and every step is mentioned. So why debug mode is needed? Debug mode is needed to test your application, to debug your application if something is failing. Okay, generally on production we keep the level as error so that it can log all the errors as well as fatal information. So remember this, that if you are putting fatal, that will log only the fatal errors, fatal logs. But if you're keeping it as error, then it logs all your errors as well as fatal information. If you're keeping it as warn, then it will log all the warnings, errors, and fatal information, all the three. If you're keeping it info, then it will log all the four: info, warning, error, fatal, all the four. And if you're keeping it debug, then it logs everything. Okay, so there is no such thing called all. Actually, debug is the all level. So if you're putting your log level as debug, it will log all the level information. Fine. Any questions? Okay. So where we set this log4j value? No, sorry, this um, what is the level of the log? Where you set that? So that is set actually in this log4j.properties. Okay, in log4j properties, we have this key known as log4j.logger, root logger, where you tell what is the level. So here you can put info, you can put debug, you can put error, and so on. Okay, and then you also give mention one more thing here. I'm mentioning here file. You can mention any value, it's like a variable. Now whatever variable you will be filing here, that same variable will be using below everywhere. So here you can see I'm using log4j.appender.file, log4j.appender.file, log4j.appender.file.layout, file.layout.conversion pattern. So this is the name of the appender. Okay. Now first thing will be log4j.appender, like what kind of log you want. Okay. Actually, there are three types of appenders available. First one is console appender, second one is file appender, and third one is rolling file appender. Now, what are these three things? First one is console appender. Console appender is when your log information gets logged on console. Okay, console of your Eclipse, or maybe if you are running through command prompt, then command prompt, or if you are running through Jenkins, then the console of Jenkins. So when you want your logs to be printed on console, then you have to use this console appender. When you want to use the file appender, when you want to put all the logs into files, into physical files, then you have to use file appender. And third one is rolling file appender. What does it means? It means that when you want that the file size of your uh, file appender should be fixed, like 10 MB or 20 MB. If it is going more than that, create a separate file. Then you can use rolling file appender. Generally, this is used when you have a very big application and lots of logging information are coming. Okay, then after maybe 1 or 2 MB, you want a new file to be created. Otherwise, what happens is if you keep dumping everything in one single file, they become so heavy. Then when you try to open it, they fails while opening. Okay, so generally, when your application has that much level of log, then you can use rolling file appender. For us, we'll be using file appender because our framework won't be going so big that we need multiple files. Okay, so the one which we'll be using will be file appender. Okay, and what you can do here is, here you can see log4j.appender.file. This file is this one. Okay, you can give xyz any name here. It's just that I was going to use file appender, that's why I've given name file. And here you need to tell the name of the class file which is going to use from where we are going to use file appender. Okay, so this is the one, org.apache.log4j.fileappender. Now comes the point where this will come. Okay, so this we have to download. Basically, this log4j we have to download separately. So on Google, just search for log4j download. Okay, it will navigate you to Apache. Just go to that Apache, and here it gives you the latest version, that is 1.2.17. Okay, here is the zip format. Just have to download it and unzip it and then import in your project. So I have log4j imported. So here you can see log4j is imported in my project. Okay, so I did that, and then the name of the class file is this file appender, and you just have to add it. Okay, guys, just 1 second. I'm pausing for a minute. Sorry. Okay, so this will tell that you're going to use file appender. If you want console appender, okay, then change uh, this file appender to console appender. If you want rolling file appender, then change it to rolling file appender. Clear? Any questions here? Okay, next information what you have to give is the path where your file will be created. Okay, so here file.file means this first file is this one, and the second file is the path where your files will be generated. So in my project, let me just change it to 2312. Okay, so in modular framework 2312 2017, that is that is our project. In that there will be a folder with name logs, and in that mercury travel.log will be the log file which will be generated. So here you can see I have this logs folder which is empty for now. If I even refresh it, There is nothing in it, but once we'll execute this code, a file will be created with name mercurytravel.log. Clear? Any questions? Okay, then comes the layout, that what layout you want for your logs. So there are many types available. The most used one is the pattern layout. Okay, what we do through the layout is we what information we want inside the log files is something uh, which is defined by this. So there you just have to give the name of the file, name of the Java class, that is pattern layout, and then you have to tell the conversion pattern, that how you want to convert it. Now how I have written it and what does it means, let me first show you what does it means. Okay, so I'll just open any one of the previous framework, and inside this we have this logs, and if I'll open it, you will see that this much information is adding. Now here look at what information it is printing. There, if you see, there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 information we are inserting. Okay, look at here, 1 2 3 3 and then colon 4, this 5 are the information which is getting printed. Now what does they mean? First one is %5p. Okay, so this p is stands for priority. Okay, and %5 means that maximum of 5 words can come. If more than 5 is coming, trim it off. Okay, that means you are limiting the word count. So here you can see the first information which is getting printed is the priority of the log, whether it's an info level log or whether it's a debug level log, or going forward you can have error fatal. So the log level which we discussed, you can see all of them, the maximum letter we have is 5. We have 5 in debug, we have 5 in error. That is why the log level, the word limit was kept till 5. Okay, then a space, and then in square bracket you're putting %t. Okay, then here you can see there is a square bracket, and in that you're putting some information. So how will you get to know what does this p means, what does this t means, or what does this f and l means? Okay, so for that, just Google log4j patterns. Okay, so just search for this. Whatever first link will come, open it. It will be the Java docs of your log4j, and come below. Okay, here is the meaning of each letter and what you want to do with it. Like the one we have is F. No, which one? We had T. So let's see what does this T means. T means used to output the name of the thread that generated this logging event. Okay, so here if you'll see, the first information is being generated by a main thread, whereas this is being generated by forwarding new session on session null to remote. This is one thread which is generating this particular information, this particular logging event. Okay, like this, just check what is F, what is L. So if I search L, L is the used for the line number, it is used for logging the line number. Then we have F, F is used for the file name where the logging requests are initiated, and so on. So whatever information you want in your logging information in your log files, just read from here and put that properly. Okay, and this percent sign is to limit the characters, and that's all. Okay, so this is how you will decide the pattern. Any questions in this? Okay, so this is my file which is created. Now in your for your projects you can just copy paste them, and next step will be uh, here. If I go back to my Guru 99, just give me a second. Yeah, so here you can see that log level we defined, appender we defined, layout we discussed, right? Third layout we also discussed. There was first step which was creating an instance of logger class. We have not done that. So let's quickly do that. So in my project, I have created one utility. Okay, in my source folders, in utils folders, I created one common util folders, and uh, all the utilities which are at Selenium level, I've moved them here. Okay, so there is one file which I've created with name logutils.java. In that, what I'm doing is I'm creating one logger. Okay, so I'm creating an instance of a class known as logger, but keeping it static so that we can directly use it uh, without creating the instance of this class. So I just kept it static, and the instance of this class, I'm naming it log, and then logger.getLogger. You just have to tell where you're initializing it. So I'm initializing it in this class, that is logutils. So just logutils.class. This is one step process. And then I created one method known as configure logutils. What does this method do? This method will uh, tell from where to read the log4j property file. Okay, in your project there might be multiple log4j properties. So to tell from where you have to read it, I just added this method, and here there is a class known as property configurator dot configure, and then give the path of your log4j properties. And how I got to know, for this I read the Java docs of log4j, and there it was simply properly mentioned that how to use. Okay, so again, just one step process, copy paste it in your project and start doing it. Okay, and these things nobody can remember. You don't have to remember them. You can just Google how to configure log4j, and it will give you these ways. Okay, nobody can remember it, so don't worry that how will I remember this name of class and all. So it will come automatically, and this is also done. Now we are ready to inject logs in our project. What will be the next step? Okay, now here if you see any test case, you will recall that the first class which will be called every time will be common driver, right? So let's start this logs from the common driver. Okay, so I'll go to the common driver implementation, and here I will uh, initialize that log4j. Okay, so in our what was it, log utils, right? In our log utils we have created one method configure log utils, right? So I just called that, so that when I call this method, it will call this and will initialize this, right? Now you can use that variable which we have created, that is this log, in your project. Like, I'll do this even before this page load timeout, and here what we'll do, we'll say log utils dot log dot, at what level this information will go, at info level. And what is the information is, let's say set default page load timeout, and the value is, let's say, page load timeout. Okay, so this is one information I'm logging at info level. Next will be this set default element detection time. Okay, and here it will be element detection timeout. Okay, then we have then we are trimming the browser type, and here when we are invoking the Chrome, I'll say log dot log. Again, this information will also be at info level. Okay, and what information it is? Invoking Chrome browser, right? So same information we'll put in our next, that is Mozilla. So here we'll say Firefox. Then here I'll say Internet Explorer. Okay, and here when you're throwing exception before this, now this information is an error or an exception. So this we can log at error level, and here we can simply say the same information which we are dumping here. You can put that information here. Fine. So this will be at error. You can see this information I logged at error level. Similarly, wherever you will have your test cases, okay, I'll open the test cases in common Mercury travels in test cases in base scenario. Wherever you have your try catch, the catch information where you have paste it, sorry, it will be log utils dot log dot all these information will come at error level. Okay, so here what you can do is you can say uh, anything error occurred. Okay, everything else will automatically come, and here you can simply get the message in your logs. So I'll just say get message. Now this statement I can put in all my catch statements. Okay, rest information about the name of the method, rave of the instance, that you can anyways dump inside your log files using the pattern layout. Okay, and let's say here wherever I have this catch statement, I'll put it. Okay, another information you can put at info level or warning level and so on. Okay, so that's all. Now if I have to execute it, I'll simply say right click, run as test-ng test. Okay, it has executed. Let it get executed and then I'll show you the log files. Okay, so code executed. Now I'll just go to the logs. refresh it, you will see that a folder with name mercurytravels.log is created, and here is the information which is inserted. Uh, this is the main thread. The log level information which you're putting is at info level. Set the page default page load timeout, element detection timeout in working browser. Whatever information was printed for that time was available, that got printed. Okay, now you can just change the level. Change the level to debug mode, run it again, you will get all the information of debug and below. Okay, and one more thing, when you have, let me open the log4j properties file. Okay, when you put this level as debug mode, not only the debug, not only information of your uh, Selenium framework, but the information from Selenium also will come, like all the jar files which you are using. In that, whatever logs at debug level is there, they will also come. So I'll just show you. Right click, run as test-ng test. So here, if I open that log file again, you will see that not only the information which we logged, but a lot more information is coming. What is this information? This is something which is coming from your Selenium. So it reports, it enters each and every step which is doing. Okay, so you can just read about that, and if let's say something is failing, you can search here what exactly is failing. Okay, you can search for error. If some error is coming in, you can search. So there is no error for now, but if some error will come, that will also come and will get reported. So this is how you will inject log4j. Everything you just have to copy paste, and then what you have to do is start adding this statement logutils.log dot the level info error debug whatever level you want. Clear? Any questions here in the logs?
So what is the difference between that output we get it for the error and this log file? Like the Selenium by default log we get it.
So Selenium log files will come only when you're keeping your log level as debug. If you'll keep it anything else, it will not give you any information. Okay. uh, as I told you, these logs will be used for debugging. Now let's say you were not available at the time this automation was executed. Maybe it's always executed when everyone is out of office. Maybe there is a nightly build, 9 o'clock in the evening it executes. Now there you are not available at the time of execution, so if something fails, you're not able to get what exactly is failing. So for those things we generate these log files. Each and every step will be there. You'll keep your you can keep your log level to debug mode, and once everything is executed, then if something is failing, we'll just come back. Now we cannot uh, we cannot see what exactly has failed, right? Either you have to run your code again, or you can just go to your log files and see what exactly failed through the events you have logged. Okay, so that's the thing it will help you in. And I guess in your application also there might be some kind of logging functionality, so you might have used them. Like I have used logs a lot. Okay, so did I answer your question, Jason? This is what you were asking, or?
Yeah, in common practice, we check the log if something goes wrong. Like normally, if everything is going fine, nobody checks the log. So that's like a common practice here.
Yeah, so same here. Same will be the with the automation. If something will go wrong, then only we'll check our log file. So you need to add each and every statement in your logs to get that
So is it
information.
so will it give more detailed information about the error or some issue?
Whatever you will put, that it will give. Like for us, what is main thing we check whenever we do testing with Selenium? All the exception which comes, right? So for all those exception, I've added this statement. I'll show you. I've added the statement that at error level, just put this error occurred and give the message. So this is what I need, right? So if you recall, yesterday I was just
Yeah,
showing you what this message enters. Message enters something like uh, element unable to find element. That is what we need to check what is going wrong, right? So I just put that in all my catch statement. Now what whenever any exception will occur, it will get logged in your log files, and then you can check your log files to know what exactly failed.
got it. Thanks.
Okay, so that's all in logs also. So our logging is also done. So this part is also done. Okay. Now let's have a break for some time and then I'll start with streams. So I'll first complete what are input stream and output stream basics of those in Java, and then I'll come to this config property. Then I'll also try completing this snapshot part, or maybe that we can take later. We'll at least complete this config properties. Okay, so see you after 7 minutes. Let me start the timer. Okay, so we can continue now. So any questions before I proceed? Okay, so next topic which I want to cover is streams in Java and why we need them. Okay, so streams are basically why we need them. First thing, to read from a file. Like you'll be having an external file and you want to read from it. So what you can use in Java, that's what we have to understand. Okay, so a stream can be defined as a sequence of data. There are two kinds of streams. One is input stream and second one is output stream. So as what it is saying, stream is defined as a sequence of data. Like if you'll see this particular file which we have just opened, here we have lots of data, right? So it consider it like a stream of water we have. Here it will consider it as a stream of data. Okay, so we have input stream. Input stream is when you are reading from a source, and then we have output stream. Output stream is when we are writing to a destination. Okay, source can be anything. It can be console, it can be file, it can be some input device like your keyboard or your scanner and so on. Similarly, output stream can be anything. It can be console, it can be files, it can be an output device like printer and all. Okay, so for all those, these input and output stream are used. Now, this input and output stream are of multiple types. One is byte stream. Okay, what does this byte stream means? Byte stream is Java byte streams are used to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes. Though there are many classes related to byte stream, but the most frequently used one are file input stream and file output stream. Okay, so what does this file input stream and output stream means? They are of byte stream type and they read data in 8-bit. Okay, like 1 byte. It reads 1 byte every time. Okay, then we have character stream. Character stream is Java byte streams are used to perform an input output of 8-bit bytes, whereas Java character streams are used to perform input and output of 16-bit Unicode. That means it reads 2 bytes in one go. This reads 1 byte in one go. That means 8-bit in one go, whereas this reads 16 bits in one go, or 2 bytes in one go, you can say. So you can say that character streams are faster than byte streams. Okay. And what are the two types we have? There are many, but the famous one are file reader and file writer. Okay, so this is an interview question as well. Like it was asked to me in one of the interview also, that what is the difference between file reader and file input stream. So the answer is all the functionality wise they both are same, and the difference is the way they reads the data. First one, that is this file input stream, it reads 1 byte per second in one go, maybe that's the better term. And a file reader reads 2 bytes in one go. Okay, so here you can also see it is saying that though internally file reader uses file input stream and file writer uses file output stream, but here the major difference is file reader reads 2 bytes at a time and file writer writes 2 bytes at a time. So this is the major difference between the two. Any questions till now? Okay. So as I was telling you, these are used for reading and writing files. So the first one, that is input stream, is to read and output stream is to write. Okay, so there are two levels of constructor available. Like when you're creating an instance of input stream and passing this file input stream, you're passing the name of the file. Okay, so you can either pass the path of the file or you can pass the file directly. Okay, I'll show you this thing in my test folder. I'll create a class file with name, let's say stream. Okay, in this, let's say I have this main. Okay, now what I told you that you can create an instance of input stream. Okay, let's say any in, I'm naming it equal to new file input stream. Okay, now here you can see this file input stream has two arguments. The first one is passing the file and second one is passing the string. Okay, when you're passing the string, you're basically giving the path of the file directly, whereas if you are using the first one, then you're not giving the path of the file but you're giving the file. Okay, what is the difference? When you are using the first one, then uh, you have to create an instance of file. Okay, file you have to take one from java.io. Okay, let's say I call it f equal to new file, and in this here you will give the path of your file, and here you will just simply pass the file. What is the benefit in second way is that here you can put some condition like read only if file exists. So there is a method called exist, so read this only when this file exists. Okay, and whenever you are using any input stream and output stream, there are some exception which are expected. Like if you hover over it, it says unhandled exception, unhandled exception, file not found exception. So what we can do is hover over it and add that throw declaration. So whatever exception will come, it will just throw. And it is also saying there was one warning. If I save it, there is one warning, and warning says that resource in is never closed. Whenever you are opening any input stream, you have to close it also. Okay, so this close is expected to throw another exception, so I'll just add that as well. Okay, now in between you can do whatever you want. Okay, so this is about input streams. Now you can change this file input stream to file reader as well. Everything will remain same, nothing will change. So here you can change it to simply file reader. Same two levels, two types of those are available, and cannot convert file reader to input stream. Okay, I need to change it to file reader. Input stream reader. Yeah, this will be used for this one. Okay, so let's keep it the other one only, that is file input stream will be, because for us we are not worried much about uh, which which reader you're using. It's fine. Okay, so here you can see, so we have this, like I just completed this both. So any questions here? Okay, now we will be using this in our next class file which we'll create. So the next file which we'll be creating is reading from this config.properties, how to read from this config.property file into your framework. Okay, so for that, first of all, in the config folder I have created one file with the name config.properties. Okay, and in this I have added some of the parameters like browser type, base URL, then page load timeout, element detection timeout, homepage title, user email ID, user password, input file name, and input sheet name. Okay, these two things will be used once we'll do data driven testing. So let them be there, but yeah, we'll not be using them. But other details, you can just recall all these parameters. When I was adding, I told you that for now I'm keeping them hard coded, but later on I'll just replace them with very I'll just replace them, or I'll add them in config.properties and we'll read from there. So now is the time when we can read from this file. Any questions? So just remember, this .properties file is a file which has values in key value pair, and it's a standard in Java. It's a standard way in Java to read. Okay, any questions? Okay, so now in utils, I've created this class file known as config_reader.java. What it is doing, it is reading that properties file, that is this config.properties, and saving it in key value pair. Okay, so what I did is I initialize my input stream. Just now we completed that. What is this input stream is for? Input seed stream is to read from a file. I create its instance name known as file reader and initialized it with file stream. Now there is a class known as properties. It is there in java.utils. Okay, what does its instance keep? The instance of this properties class keep value in key value pair. Okay, so I created an instance of properties class with name property, and I'll keep the value in key value pair. Okay, just initialize it, and then you just have to load it, like whatever is there in that config file, you have to load it using the method called load and pass the stream. Okay, so file reader will read everything in its stream, and that reader you are passing in this. Now this property will have values in key value pair, and we are just returning that property. Okay, so we will use this again. This is something which we can initialize in our common driver. Okay, so here I'll create a variable private properties. You have to take one from java.util, and let's say I'll call it config property. Okay, my bad. One thing, we will not add this in this common driver. The reason being, in all our Selenium layer, in our complete automation layer, we have not kept anything as hard coded. Everything is variable. That means nothing is required here. Where it is required, it will be required in our test cases, right? So here we will be creating that, and here I can keep it as public instead of keeping it as private. The name of the property I've kept as config property, and initialization will do in its constructor. So I have not created its constructor, now I'll create the constructor as well. So I'll say base scenario, and we'll initialize it into config property equal to, what was the name of the
Your
utility?
voice is not clear, Saurabh.
Sorry?
Your voice is not clear.
I need to just my, is it fine now?
Yes, it is fine now.
Okay, actually I was just sitting and I pulled the key, this mic. Anshu, is it fine now? Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry. I was talking about this config property. So I just created an instance of properties class with this name config property, and now in this uh, config reader is the name of the file. In that we have a method known as read properties. So here we'll say config reader dot read properties, and here you need to give the name of the file. Okay, and the name of the file is, this is the file. I'll copy its path. Will come here, paste it here, Control F, replace all single slashes with double slashes, close, copy them. Okay, and paste them here. And now I'll just put them in try catch. Okay, so we initialized it, config.properties. Now every value is there in this config.property, and how to use this usage will be like this. Let's start with the first one. Okay, here you have to invoke the browser. Okay, and the first variable, and okay, the first thing is this Chrome, the browser name. Okay, so I'll create one variable, let's say string browser type. Okay, and the value of this will come from uh, config property dot get property. So the name of the method to get the value is this get property, and here give the key. In this argument you have to give the key, and key where you'll find in this file. So the name of the key is this, and just replace. Okay, what happened? Okay, here we will replace this Chrome with the string just created. Okay, similarly the other ones also you have to do the same way. This is element detection timeout, right? And it is of type long, so I'll say long element detection timeout equal to again config property dot get property, and the value of key for that will be this page load timeout. Okay, and I'll come here, not here. Okay, get property, and here we will put that property value and so on. But the thing is, it's of long type, and when we are reading from a file, it's in string. So what you have to do is change it into long. So what is the method? Long dot value of. So this will convert your string into long, and then you can pass the element detection timeout. Similarly, you can add page load timeout. So sorry, this is element detection timeout, and here I put page load timeout. So I'll just copy it, paste it again, and this we will pass here, and here we will change it to page load timeout, and from this file I'll read element detection timeout, and Here we'll pass element detection timeout, and here we'll change it to payload timeout. Okay, and then you need to change the URL as well. So this also will replace with config property dot get property, and the value of key will be and the key will be base URL. Okay, so here we'll change it to base URL. Okay, like this, whatever variables you have defined in this, you can replace them. Like we have this homepage title, we have user email ID, and then we have user's password. So all these will change in our test case. Where is our test case? This is our test case. So in this, currently you can see that expected title was something which is hard coded. So I'll just change it, and we'll say config property dot get property. Okay, and the key will be key, you can copy from here. Key is homepage title, and replace it. And why I'm able to access this config property variable? Because we this particular class Mercury Travel homepage test, it extends base scenario. That means it inherits base scenario, and in base scenario this config property variable was a public variable, right? Similarly, here you can replace your username and password also. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can replace your username and password also with these. Uh, just give me a second. So here I'll copy this config.properties. We'll replace this with user email ID, and the last one with user email password. Okay, so the value will come from here, user email ID, and here also it will be user password. Okay, rest everything will remain same. Now when you'll execute, it will execute same way. But the only thing is, this time it will not have hard-coded values, but it will be reading from your property file, that is config.properties. Okay, so any questions here? So we have added this config.properties things also into our framework. Okay, now three things are left. One is this data driven, second is Jenkins integration, and third one is taking snapshot. So taking snapshot will not take much time, it will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, this Jenkins will take 35 to 40 minutes, and then data driven will also take 1 hour. So most probably in the next class we'll be able to complete it. Okay, so I'm ending the session now because like I'm not feeling well. Some throat infection is it is causing problem. So in the next class we'll complete everything. Okay, not much is left. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, to let me know. I'll just stop the recording.